can you see this person's perspective,
Right.
but can you see beyond this barrier that is in front of you right now? And we do get to that place of gratitude and actually appreciation. Now, it takes us refusing to stay in a victim mindset in order to do that.
Can we hug?
I have missed your beautiful face.
Same. I missed you so much. I'm still coughing and still having my stuff, but I'm better. I'm way better. I go, when you start doing the last will and testament on a legal pad, because the old one isn't up to date.
Yes.
I go, oh, y'all don't even look at that old one. This is the new one. It's on a legal pad. That's how bad I felt.
There you go. Well, it is so good to be back and to connect with, I know I don't get to see who we're connecting with on my end, but to connect with all the lovelies that we're going to connect with today that,
I know.
I've got lots of messages and people going, oh my gosh, you guys are back on today. I'm like, we are. So we're going to roll this out and roll with it. Right.
Absolutely. We are. And we're starting to get to our comments. I love it. Leslie's here.
Hey,
Happy
Leslie.
Wednesday.
Yes.
Wednesday. Glad to have you. And we are on YouTube. We are on my Devon O'Day Twitter. We are on Transcending Turbulence page. We are all over the place.
We're all over.
And so I love when I get to see all y'all. And so hopefully everybody's watching. It's not showing up. Our viewers are not showing up so far on our thing, but there have been some technical issues of late that have been kind of cray.
Yeah. Well, and we've been on a little hiatus for a hot minute. So, some people might have picked up other things that they do during their lunch hour. And you know what? If they don't catch us live, they'll catch us on the replay.
That's right. And hashtag replay. But Candy Seaton is with us. Yeah.
Hey, Candy.
Yeah. We're getting our group together. We just get you a cup of something or get you lunch and pull up a chair. Because today's really important. Man, I need this one. Do you want to set it up? Oh, Marty Rabin. Hey, I love
Marty. Hey, Marty.
Love our Marty. He's so good. And he prays better than anybody I've ever heard. He is a praying man. I love to hear him pray. He's watching us on LinkedIn today.
Nice. Oh, I should give you my LinkedIn and you can throw it on there too. I didn't even think about that.
I know.
Me and that techie stuff. You're the tech guru on that. I'm just I'm just going to show up and talk.
Well, that's worth it. Hey, today we're going to talk about when something bad happens and some little something happens and you either let it be just, I love you too. He's saying love y'all. Well, we love our Marty. We love him.
Yes.
And everybody always says he's a great singer, but I'm going to tell you the thing that I love about Marty is how he prays. And Candy says she's missed us both.
We've missed you too, Candy.
Okay, now that we've got all our fellowshipping out of the way, Elizabeth's here. Oh my gosh, y'all are all here. This is so cool. Today, when something bad happens, don't let it derail your entire day or the entire experience. It's like taking the thing that happened and changing the perspective on it. And I can get on a pity pot. Maybe I've been on one since we stopped doing this the last time because I've been thick.
Been a little under the weather.
Yeah. And I'm like, my mother's been watching the shows and she said, would you please do something? She said, I don't know what is going on, but your hair, something is going on. So I dried my hair this morning just for my mama.
Mama Pat got your girl to dry her hair for you, just special.
Because she's like going, look, she has sent me the legal pad message that she's not going to make it through. She's like finding places for animals. Something is going on with my daughter. And it was.
Yeah. It's a big thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So today, talking about not letting situations that happen or experiences that happen derail us completely, because a lot of times we can be tricked by our lovely little brain organ into thinking that things that have happened are bad or they're good, but they can derail us and have us thinking we're not good or our life isn't good or this moment or this day isn't good. And I was having a conversation with someone this morning, and we were sharing breakfast together, and we were talking and catching up, and they were sharing something with me. And you know me, the way my brain works and the way the universe and God works in my brain, somebody starts talking to me and suddenly I get a picture show in my head.
Yeah.
So they were sharing with me, and I looked at them when they finished, and I said, so was it like? And what came out of my mouth was being pushed off of a boat, and that panic that sets in that first few minutes where it's like, oh my gosh, I'm in water and it's cold and I don't know what to do. And we panic and we spiral and we swirl, and worst case scenarios come, they barrage. They're just like it's a barrage of different things. And then we completely forget that we actually know, one, how to swim, and two, if we just stand up, we find out we're in waist deep water. But that spiral, that whether it's getting sick, whether it's losing a job, whether it's having a relationship end, whether it's the boss coming in and saying, you're not doing this the way I asked you to. Any of those can be our bloop right off the boat moment when we feel ourselves spiraling.
Elizabeth says, ooh, that little voice inside my head used to scream at me about how my life completely sucked because something happened.
Right. Yeah. Right.
True. And hi, Greg. That's Greg. my adopted son, Greg, who I absolutely adore, great singer, and he's watching on YouTube today.
Nice.
So thank you. You know, I very easily can take the perspective of everything is bad. One bad thing. I mean, I can get a high electric bill and it can ruin my day.
Mm-hmm.
If it's
so flipping that now, and I get it. A lot of times people are like, oh my gosh, if I have to hear positive Pauline again, or I guess positive Pew at this point, throw another positive out there, I'm just going to throw up in my own mouth. But here's the thing. It's not about toxic positivity. It's about, yes, a high electric bill can throw us for a loop, right? Like it could be like, oh gosh, I don't have the money to do this. Even if you got the money, it's like, this is a lot. I don't want to blah, 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 blah. But then taking a minute just to ground. There are so many ways, if you got the money to pay it, pay it. If you don't, then calling them and arranging a payment plan, or doing what you need to do to budget accordingly. Sometimes it's just that shock of the unexpected happening, no matter what it is. But grounding ourselves, breathing. I know a lot of people hate journaling, so I say coloring if you're not a journal fan, doodling, taking a break from where you are and what you're looking at, and giving yourself the opportunity to get your feet on the ground, get something solid underneath you. Because when that spiral happens, it feels like, when you're watching the magicians and they go whoosh and they pull the tablecloth out from underneath the table.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like when that spiral hits. Suddenly all of our footing is gone and we panic, and fear feeds on that panic, which leaves us flailing around. I'm drowning. I'm drowning. I'm drowning. And then you stand up and you go, oh shit, I was in a wading pool. And then what do we do?
Kiddie pool, yeah.
I was in the kiddie pool. And then what happens? We start then going, I can't believe I did that. I'm so stupid for doing that. So we can stop all of that by shifting our perspective and shifting our reality to it.
This morning I was thinking about this topic. And sometimes, and people can say what they want to. For me, the voice of God is as present as if, well, I know, right there with me. And I looked out in my backyard. I was making my coffee and I looked in the backyard and I saw the 4 horses between me and the barn. They were just out there, just grazing, just living.
Being beautiful.
And God reminded me, this is the desire of your heart. This is what you asked me for when you were a little girl. And you have it. You have it now. And it was this moment of gratitude that washed over me. And I said, thank you, God. Thank you in this moment for reminding me that you have given me the desires of my heart. And so many things. I go, this is the year of everything breaking. I mean, I, paid for a new heating and air unit, a brand new one. And the guy turned out to be a gypsy and it doesn't work. And I have no recourse. And it's just like, okay, now I owe that money back. Now I can't afford to get a new unit. And then everybody that's giving me the new price is like, 10 grand or whatever. And I'm going, well, what? So this summer I bought a couple of window units.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? I survived. And, I am going to survive in the winter with some similar things. I said, I'm going to make do with what I've got till I can afford until I get back on my feet. I'm not going to and then that whole thing of the year of everything breaking and then looking in the backyard, the reminder that, wait a minute, everything isn't bad. Some things are awesome, and so surrounding, and there's always more good than bad. Isn't that something?
Mm-hmm.
Always.
There is. And again, it's situational because like we can have certain experiences. You can get in a car wreck, your car can be totaled. You can lose not lose, because when someone passes away, it's not like we've lost them, like misplaced them. We know they've passed away. So I try to change the narrative around that. When someone we love transitions or passes away, those are heavy hitters. And those are things that in the moment, being able to ground ourselves in the simplest of ways helps. It's not a magic pill to take away all the pain. But on those things like you were talking about, the unit being out, it can be like, wow, what a pain this is. And then looking out and just a gentle reminder, my life is actually pretty great.
Yeah.
My life is pretty great. And you can still have a longing, a wanting, or a frustration with the fact that something isn't working the way that you might want it to work, but still making space for that appreciation, for that gratitude, for that blessing.
Absolutely. Brenda just joined us. Hi, Brenda. Always good to have you. Elizabeth, yes, we can work ourselves into believing it was a nuclear bomb rather than a firecracker. I used to spend more time stewing than it took to solve whatever it was. I love that. Joyce just joins us. Hi, Joyce. Gratitude and the serenity prayer truly get me through the most things nowadays. True.
Yeah.
Leslie has sitting on my deck and seeing my yard critters always makes me feel at peace.
Yes.
I love that. And Candy always gives us some good things. Some things we just have to pivot and go into a different direction. I get it. I've had a lot of that going on this year too. I know we've been talking about it. It's just like, and Brenda says resilience.
Well, and you know what? Candy brings up a good point. The pivot is not necessarily that we have to, a pivot is just that. It's just a slight change of direction. And it doesn't mean that you're throwing everything to the wind or that you're scrapping everything. It just means that there's a slight change of direction, and sometimes with our perspective, just that small pivot makes all the difference in the world.
Elizabeth, and I'm not sure if she's talking to you or to me. I love your yard and the photos you share of it. But thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Woo! We love our yards and that, and I know that we both are sharing a lot of stuff. Joyce says, always things to be grateful for, no matter what is going on. I'm trying to live with this thought daily, forever grateful to God for all he's blessed me with.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it just crossed my mind. She might be talking to Leslie about her yard.
Oh, could be. Could be. That's exactly right.
You know what? Nature's a very healing thing. And when you have a space, it doesn't matter if it's a patio, if it's a patio, a carport, acres, or, a small little 10 by 10 patch. You can create such a peaceful space for yourself.
Jan Woods joins us, and I think it might be Jan's. Jan, this is the first time I've seen you on our live, but I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you for being here, and thank you for the compliment. I'm getting better at taking those things, and I thank you for saying always. But I tell you, this past week, I look back at a couple of the videos, and I'm going, "Whoo, Lord have mercy." It's been, but when you feel bad and you just go, you know what? I'm just going to keep going. But I think sometimes being real with how you feel in your outward appearance is okay. I mean, well, it's like I didn't have any choice, but I think it's okay that we don't have to cover everything with a bunch of makeup or whatever so that we aren't authentic to how we are. Is
Mm-hmm.
that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So y'all have helped me a lot. And part of the thing today, honest to goodness, Teri, it was looking forward to this topic and what you always bring. I mean, I tell everybody, I said, Teri Pugh and Transcending Turbulence and working with you saved my life. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I don't even exaggerate with that. And saved my life. And we did this whole show because I wanted the world to see that there is hope and there's help out there. I had tried 3 or 4 different therapists, and I said, well, this is really expensive, and I don't need another friend. I need someone who will kick me in the butt and say, here's what you do. And that's what this show's about, is to give you, here's what you can do. This is
Right.
practical application here. And you guys are a big part of it. Candy offers, yes, Teri, a pivot is like a bump in the road that we just have to find a different way around it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, as a athlete from high school, I can tell you that we learned the pivot very well playing basketball. And it's not you're not throwing the whole play away. You're just going a different route. And here's the thing is if you have a game plan, if you have a goal in mind, sometimes we as humans think we have the best possible plan ever. And we don't become quiet and allow a bigger plan that might be better suited for us, better fit for us to unfold because we have it in our mind how we know it needs to be. And that pivot sometimes is just God's way, the universe's way, whatever you call your higher power, the buttercup in the backyard, whatever. But it's that way of going, hey, remember, you still have options. And so you don't have to marry yourself to an idea that if it doesn't happen this way, it'll never happen. So sometimes those derailings or those splashes in the water where you don't see them coming are actually hidden gifts that show up. And we think a gift is something that we're supposed to open up and go, oh my gosh, this is the best thing ever. But we all know if we live to be any age of an adult anyway, that gifts don't always show up in like these pretty bows, and sometimes they don't look like a gift when you open it and you're like, oh, okay, well, it's kind of like you get that pot holder and you're like, oh, this is a nice gift, I mean, I guess. But then what happens, you're cooking something one day and what do you need? You need that pot holder,
right?
So guess what, it's a gift.
It is a gift. It is a gift. Because somewhere in my move, I misplaced all my pot holders, and I'm still looking for my pot holders. And the one I'm relegated to using, the one I made in 4th grade at the YMCA camp, summer camp. It's about this big.
Yes.
So try pulling a skillet out of the oven like that. Elizabeth says, "Yep, I was talking to Leslie, but y'all have beautiful spaces in your house too." Candy, I have a pretty peaceful place, few acres that the deer and turkeys roam in, and I love seeing them. I love it.
Yes.
Elizabeth, I learned so much from Teri and her daily Teriisms that she posts. Speaking of, let's talk about following Transcending Turbulence, Teri Pugh, on Instagram and on Facebook because they're linked. But those daily posts really are good, and they're good things to put on Post-it notes and stick on your mirror, the refrigerator, wherever it is you frequent.
I'm going to let y'all in on a little secret that I don't think I've ever told anybody. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure I haven't told anybody this. So instead of telling one person, I'll just tell the world, right? Anytime I travel, I will pick out 4 or 5 of those things that I post on Instagram, and I print them out from my home computer on like a 3x5 or a 4x6. And I spend time cutting them out into like, little pictures. And then anytime I travel, if I leave a hotel, I leave it tucked in the drawer. If I leave a restroom on the side of the road, I tape it to the mirror as I'm going out. I put it on a gas pump. I leave them everywhere. Not because I am drumming up business, but
Mm-hmm.
because most of the time my stuff isn't even on there. I mean, where they can
Mm-hmm.
follow me is on there, but because I feel like if it comes to me, I am divinely ordained to pass it through me. It doesn't just, it's
Amen.
not
Yeah.
just my gift. It comes through me,
Yeah.
and not everything's going to resonate with everybody, but I
Yeah.
trust that I trust
Whew.
110% that whoever is supposed to see it will see it. And,
Speaking of seeing it, Elizabeth, I was looking for my toaster for my move almost 2 years ago. Candy said, amen, amen, Teri. Sometimes those gifts that we don't think are gifts turn out to be the best thing that's happened. I love it.
absolutely. Absolutely.
And we're getting a lot of amens, a lot of praise hands, and thank you guys for your interaction. Makes this show what it is. I think one of the things that you taught me, and sometimes the bad thing that happens is one person. There is one person in your life and they said, and I have been guilty of, they ruined my life because of XYZ. This happened and everything fell apart. And there have been different people throughout my life that have taken that role. The scapegoat, the reason behind all the anguish, all the stuff. And here's the deal. There was one person that came up that was formative, that was part of it. And you said, okay, if you were watching this person on TV and this was a show, what would your reaction be? And I said, laughter. It would be funny. And I thought about the Golden Girls, which at the time was one of my favorite shows. And you said, now change the perspective. And the next time something just totally derails you that comes out of that person's mouth, change the perspective and you're watching them. If you were a friend and you walked in on this conversation, would you laugh about it with you? Well, yeah. That little tool changed everything about me. So when you've got somebody bad in your life, think of yourself in a role in a movie. Think about what people would look like if they were watching it. Fights. I mean, fights are hilarious when you're not the one in them.
Right. Right. Arguments can be, and not the fact of the content of the language that someone is using, but the mannerisms. Like
Right.
when we scale back the fact of being on the receiving end or on the giving end of this, and we scale back and we look at how people show up, a lot of times they're showing up as one of their littles. They're showing up as someone triggered and in a tantrum. And it's not to sit back and laugh like, ha, 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 but it's to like look at that and go, huh, okay, that's a little wackadoodle cuckoo chew going on right there. Like, why are we acting like this as adults?
Yes.
And so we have to be willing to, I even caution, there we go, that's the word that dropped in, people to be careful using the words like bad people, because people are people.
Yeah.
We all have different experiences. So I always say, when someone shows up in your life and they're not a good fit for you in a moment, in a season, figure out they don't show up just by happenstance. There's a reason that we have our experiences. And I choose to believe that the reason that we experience things is so that we can connect and stay connected to our highest and best version of ourselves. And also so we can continue to grow. And sometimes people that are around us are living in a drought mindset. And so if we share with them, then they get a little bit of moisture. They get a little bit of sustainability to carry them through. It's not your job to go around watering everybody in the free world, because then you end up, being in an emotional drought yourself. But just being kind without the expression or the expectation that you got to fix them all. Work on yourself.
Hallelujah.
And working on ourselves turns into, let me stand up. Let me ground myself. Let me take care of myself in this moment, because this moment is exactly that. It's a moment. And in 60 more seconds, it doesn't exist anymore. And it
Steve.
has an imprint on your life.
Steve just joined us. Steve Burning. Hey, Steve.
Steve.
And Linda. Hey, there's my buddy Linda. Good morning,
Linda.
good afternoon, whatever it is for where you are. And Brenda has a question. Toxic people.
Oh, girl. Toxic people. Yes. Toxic people that are not good fits for us. We can create space either by letting them know we're creating space, or we can create space within our own self, to set a palette, so to speak, up that distances ourselves from them. There are going to be some toxic people that are going to be in your life. I mean, you're going to even share the bathroom with some of these people, but you can find ways to create your own pockets of inner peace and not have to continually sacrifice your peace of mind for them.
That's good. That's one of those write it down moments. Candy says, I was engaged to someone and we broke up and I was heartbroken, but later realized it was the best thing that happened. And sometimes we villainize people, but the thing was they weren't villains. They were just not right for us. There is that. I will say that I have known some evil people, and the thing that you go, and I run into that, and they may have a lot of bad things that had happened to them that made them that way or turned them that way. I mean, I'm sure that at one time somebody was really crazy about Jeffrey Dahmer, but there are people that have some issues, whether they be toxic or just downright mentally ill, that we can't live with that. I don't think that we need to go and throw ourselves in front of somebody. What is it? You said this one time. I think this was you. We don't have to set ourselves on fire to keep someone else warm.
Yes, I have said that many times. It's not my quote. I wish it was, because it would be a t-shirt line by this point, but it's not my quote, but I absolutely love it.
But you did tell me that.
We are not responsible for setting ourselves on fire to keep other people warm. Like there's nothing in the rule book of life that says that we have to completely extinguish our peace of mind, our happiness, our serenity, so that other people are happy. We get that mixed up a lot. There's a balance there. There's contrast. Where there's light, there's dark, right? There's a contrast there. We have to find our balance, and we have to constantly check ourselves, because as good friends, as family members, as parents, I can assure you there are times that we are walking that line and we're going to slip to one side or the other. And that's not a judgment. It's just about going, oh, here I am. Let me get back to where I need to be and take care of myself in this process. The perfect balance is taking care of ourselves and taking care of others when our energetic resources are there, and teaching them how to take care of their self.
I love this. Sometimes toxic people help us to learn to create boundaries for ourselves. Woo! I love that. Love that. Joyce, thank God for unanswered prayers. Sometimes true.
Right.
I'm a total people pleaser, and sometimes it just wears me out.
Well, and here's the kicker to, when I hear the word toxic people float around, I said to a client one day, they were talking about toxic people. And they were someone that was in a relationship with a toxic person, and they didn't want to leave the relationship. And I said to them, well, then does that make you a toxic person?
Oh, you did the Teri.
I did the Teri. There was not a mic to drop, but I do have a candy jar. So there was a Tootsie Roll in there, and I felt like dropping the Tootsie Roll, but I didn't. And it was done in a way where there's humor and there's lightheartedness and there's directedness around that. But we have to look at that. Like, it's not always just the other person. When we're in a relation, I was in a relationship with a guy for 5 years. And I mean, we've talked about narcissism and all of that, but he was an incredibly toxic person. And I had to take accountability for my own. I was with this guy for 5 years. So something in my brain was cuckoo cuckoo because I had some stuff I needed to work out because I was allowing this to happen. And even if I didn't want it to happen, I wasn't moving on. So it doesn't mean that toxic is just vile, venomous. It just means we're unhealthy on some level.
Yeah, gotcha. The biggest thing Elizabeth says I remind myself of is that I love where I am in my life right now. And I'm only here because of everything that came before. That means it was either a blessing or a blessing in disguise.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite quote is from Blanche Devereaux from Golden Worlds. I don't know why blessings walk around in a disguise. If I was a blessing, I'd walk around naked.
Yes. Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
I love it. And our last comment, and let me find it. It's from Brenda. And I love you, Brenda. It's like, Elizabeth, ask God to show you where the toaster is.
There you go.
That's it in a nutshell. Okay,
there you go.
Just ask God, but God. And there that kind of brings us down to the point of the show where we wrap things up and put it on a bow by telling you how to get in touch with either one of us. I'm Devon O'Day at Gmail. Real easy.
I'm Teri Pugh at terrypugh.com or on Instagram under Transcending Turbulence.
We are here each and every week now, back after our hiatus, because
we are. And as you just say that, today was one of those like, hey, let's go back today. And was like, or yesterday. And we were like, yeah, let's do that. So I need to check my calendar to actually make sure that I don't have clients scheduled in our window that we were taking off. But if I do, we're still going to work it out where we're back in the grind. And I just want to say one thing, Devon. I know that you have been dealing with, just some physical, not feeling well stuff going on. And it is such a gift to share the space with you today and to see you smile and laugh, because you're a cherished friend and I haven't seen that smile or that laugh in a hot minute, because the weight of not feeling well has had you down. And so I personally, whether we're on a launch date or whether we're just FaceTiming, I love the fact that you're starting to feel better, and I'm going to keep holding space for you to keep feeling better.
Thank you. And Katie says, I've been dealing with some physical stuff too, girl. Sorry you have been. Yeah, it is. I mean, you all of a sudden, when you start going, who's going to take blind Stevie, the steer? I'm going, oh, okay. Welcome home, Devon. Brenda says, yeah. And Elizabeth says, I've missed Devon's beautiful smile and laughter. So glad you're on the mend. Well, thank you. A lot of people recognized it and messaged me, are you okay? No, I wasn't okay. But it's okay to not be okay.
Absolutely.
But I'm going to tell you, it took a hot minute to start feeling better and to reach out and to say, okay. And Elizabeth says, I'll let you know if that works. It's a dang nice toaster. And I miss it. That is just perfect. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Joyce had the flu on vacation all last week, finally better. Well, God bless you. I hope that you feel better, and reach out to us, do that, and give us some ideas for future shows. Hopefully we'll be back here next Wednesday at this time. Teri is in demand. She in demand.
Hey, I am happy to be a conduit for that. So whatever that looks like, I'm down for it. So also, I wanted to real quick throw out, I know I've posted it on social media, November the 5th on a Saturday from 10 to 4, I'm doing the Refresh Her workshop. There's going to be a lot of laughter, a lot of growth, a lot of connecting to things that allow us to shed the things that hold us down. And so there is space for 3 left. There's only 6. I think I started out with 8, but I've decided, I've been nudged that it's really supposed to be 6. So anybody that wants to do that, great.
And this is all only for women this time.
It is only for women, 6 women. It's a 1-day workshop op at my office here in Nashville. And, I think it's like $149. So it's like an all day. So if you can bear spending all day with me, it will be fun.
These all day workshops are really incredible. And I encourage you guys, the Refresher, November 5th.
Yeah. First Saturday in November. So
coming right up, coming right up. You know, you
There
can
you
get
go.
all the spooky stuff out of the way and go see Teri.
Right around the corner. Right around the
All right.
corner.
All right, you guys. I'm going to let you end it like you always do.
All right. Well, again, we just love y'all, and we so much appreciate you joining and choosing to spend your time and your energy with us. So until we see you next time, please create space to increase the peace in your life, and we'll see you. Bye-bye.